You're about to discover a profound secret, a technique hidden for over 3,000 years. This ancient method was meticulously used by the initiates of Thoth to awaken true inner vision, the ability to perceive beyond what ordinary eyes can see. What's truly astonishing is that your body has already begun to employ this very technique, often without your conscious awareness. Have you ever experienced that unsettling feeling that something is amiss, even when no one else seems to notice? Or perhaps a sudden, inexplicable chill, as if someone silently called out to you from within. These aren't mere symptoms. They're powerful signs that your perception has already started to pierce the veil between worlds. If you're ready to explore these deeper truths and unlock your inner potential, make sure to subscribe to the Seeds of Akasha channel right now and join our growing community of seekers. By the end of this journey, you will master the specific vibrational code that unlocks this hidden portal within you. But first, it's essential to grasp why you already exist between two distinct worlds, and what transformative power is unleashed when you finally learn to perceive both simultaneously. The ancient wisdom states, if you separate the spirit from the body and learn to see with the eyes of the soul, then the profound truth hidden behind all forms will be revealed. This isn't a metaphor or a fantasy. It is a reality as ancient as time itself, yet a truth seldom shared or taught. Since the dawn of civilization, the great sages have understood the existence of these two overlapping layers that are present in every moment. There's the physical, concrete, and visible world, and then there's the subtle, energetic, vibrational world. While the first is immediately obvious, the second often remains silent, yet it is perpetually present. Most people are conditioned to believe that only what can be touched, measured, or scientifically proven truly exists. However, the ancients knew this was only a partial understanding of the whole. They referred to the invisible realm by many names: the spiritual world, the ether, the astral plane, and in ancient India, the Akasha. The Egyptians spoke of the visible world and the duat, while the Greeks termed them the sensible and the intelligible. The masters of the Hermetic tradition held a crystal-clear understanding. Everything physical is merely the temporary manifestation of something far deeper. Your body feels, but the energetic field surrounding your body already knew. Your rational mind reacts, but a subtle awareness had already sensed it. You might believe you are making a decision in this very moment, but on deeper vibrational levels, the gears of reality were set in motion long ago. This isn't magic, it's ancient science, a refined perception that is, in essence, part of your very nature. From the moment you were born, you possessed access to both of these worlds, yet your education, your environment, and your culture were meticulously designed to disconnect you from one of them. You were taught to trust solely in what your eyes could see, in numbers, and in logic. You learned that seeing is believing. But no one ever taught you that there are truths you can only truly perceive when you feel, when you become silent, when you observe with something far beyond ordinary vision. This is precisely why you may have stopped trusting yourself. That unexplainable feeling, that strange dream that later materialized, that intuition that something was off. It was all dismissed as mere imagination, but it was never just imagination. It was your perception effortlessly crossing the boundary between worlds. It was your consciousness attempting to remind you that there is infinitely more than what your physical eyes can capture. Have you ever noticed how, in certain profound moments, time seems to stretch, as if a tiny fraction of a second suddenly carried immense weight, and the environment around you slowed to a crawl? It is in these precise moments that the second world subtly reveals itself. It doesn't arrive with a dramatic flourish. Rather, it slips in, breathing in the quiet pause between thoughts, existing in the spaces between the lines of reality itself. You have been there countless times, even without realizing it. The ancient masters eloquently stated, the visible world is like the shadow of something far greater. Much like Plato's famous allegory, most people live their lives staring at a wall, perceiving only shadows and believing that is the entirety of existence. Those who dare to turn their gaze discover an abundant source of light that was always present, merely hidden by the habits of daily life, by haste, and by constant distraction. And when you finally behold that light for the very first time, your life is irrevocably transformed. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to embark on years of arduous study or adhere to strict, rigid rules. You simply need to begin remembering, because deep within your being, something already knows. This is why you feel what you feel, why certain places send shivers down your spine, and why, even without tangible proof, you instinctively know there is something more. You exist between two worlds, you always have. But only now have you begun to truly notice. This is where everything shifts, because those who mastered the art of seeing both worlds simultaneously left behind a precise method that has remained hidden until this moment. The forbidden knowledge that Thoth secretly imparted. This isn't a recently conceived technique. It is ancient, far older than any organized religion, any modern scientific discipline, or any popular spiritual doctrine. It was meticulously preserved by one of the most enigmatic figures in history, Thoth, also known as Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great. Thoth was revered as the master of cycles, the lord of time, of the creative word, and of access between worlds. But most significantly, he was among the very first to meticulously record what we now understand as the path to inner vision. So why is this knowledge rarely discussed? Why has it remained hidden for such an extended period? Because in the wrong hands, this technique was not merely another self-awareness practice. It literally opened the very doors of perception. It expanded the senses, shattering the illusion that matter is the sole reality. In doing so, it unveiled what lay behind the veil: intricate patterns, subtle frequencies, and hidden intentions. Once activated, this inner vision allowed you to perceive not just the world around you, but also the profound forces that move it. This was not knowledge that could be widely disseminated to the masses, because not everyone is truly ready to witness what genuinely exists. This is why in his ancient texts, Thoth employed intricate codes, symbolic language, metaphors, and phrases that at first glance might appear to be mere poetry or mysticism. Yet within them lay precise vibrational instructions for those who were truly prepared. He did not speak to the rational mind. He spoke directly to the consciousness behind the mind. Only the initiates could truly decode it. And this initiation did not occur in grand, elaborate temples, but in the profound silence of being, in the sacred encounter with oneself. For millennia, this knowledge was passed down in this manner, from master to disciple, in absolute secrecy, one by one. There were no public lectures, no widely distributed books, only a pure vibrational transmission between two perfectly aligned consciousnesses. And why such extreme care? Because those who were not adequately prepared for this vision could quite literally go mad from what they saw. Seeing beyond the illusion demands spiritual maturity, truth, while ultimately liberating can also be profoundly confusing. If it arrives at the wrong time, Thoth understood this deeply, as did his initiates. They were not fundamentally different from you. They were simply ready to cross the veil, and for that, they required more than mere curiosity. They needed presence, unwavering surrender, and profound inner discipline. This vision cannot be bought. It is not inherited. It is earned through meticulous frequency alignment and pure, authentic intention. Over time, this precious knowledge gradually dissolved into the sands of history. Some parts were tragically lost, others were deliberately concealed, and still others remain preserved within ancient texts, often ignored by those who read with their eyes but not with their hearts. The Emerald Tablet, for instance, serves as one of these crucial clues, an encrypted summary of the path of inner transmutation. Every single line contains multiple layers of profound understanding, but without the correct key, it all appears to be nothing more than an ancient riddle. However, that key is not to be found externally. It never was. It resides within you. And this is precisely what makes this technique so incredibly powerful, because it doesn't depend on external tools, on gurus, or on temples. It depends solely on you and your willingness to look, to feel, and to activate what is already present but merely dormant. You have carried this innate ability since the moment you were born. It is not a special gift reserved for a select few. It is an intrinsic part of the very structure of your consciousness, an internal instrument that fell silent from lack of use. But now, with everything you have begun to perceive, it is on the verge of awakening. Now that you have journeyed this far, you are prepared to uncover the truth about a forgotten function you already utilize every single day without knowing it. And the most remarkable aspect is that you access this vision daily in the moment you least expect it. While you sleep, yes, while your physical body rests, something profound within you moves beyond the confines of the physical world. You dream. And dreaming is, in essence, seeing without your physical eyes. Have you ever truly pondered this? How is it possible that with your eyes closed and no external stimuli, you can vividly visualize entire scenes, colors, faces, emotions, and places? Where do these intricate images originate? They are not mere projections of the physical world. They are internal manifestations, reflections of another layer of consciousness that remains actively engaged, while your logical mind is silent. And that very layer is precisely where your inner vision resides. Modern science often refers to this as vivid imagination. Yet there are already rigorous studies demonstrating that the human brain, while dreaming, processes a unique type of visual activity that is entirely independent of external light or the retina. These are internal recordings, subtle accesses to content that extend far beyond the conscious mind. This is the very territory where the third eye operates. And no, it is not simply an esoteric symbol without factual basis. It is a functional vibrational structure, an internal lens that operates entirely outside the field of the five traditional senses. In your earliest years, you use this vision constantly. Just observe a baby. They stare into seemingly empty space and smile. They fix their gaze on points that adults cannot perceive. Small children often converse with presences that adults fail to notice. And the typical response is, "Oh, it's just imagination." However, what we label as imagination in these instances is, in fact, subtle perception, the very same perception you gradually lost access to when you learned to rationalize everything. When you began to depend exclusively on what was tangible, predictable, and socially acceptable. Yet that vision never truly left you. It merely became quiet, patiently awaiting the moment you would be ready to reactivate it. Perhaps that moment has arrived now, because if you've read this far, it's because something within you has begun to feel that there is far, far more than what appears before your physical eyes. The 3 pillars and the 7 breaths. Now, let's explore the 3 pillars that awaken inner vision and what happens when you bring them together. At the center of your forehead lies a point revered by many ancient spiritual traditions as the seat of subtle perception. Now, you are going to perform a simple yet profoundly powerful act. Bring your attention to this point. No strenuous effort, no specific expectations, just complete and full awareness. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe slowly, feeling the air gently entering through your nostrils, flowing calmly down into your lungs, filling your entire body like a serene breeze. Exhale slowly, allowing the air to leave. Repeat this once more. And now, bring your attention directly to the center of your forehead. Do not force anything, simply feel. Imagine your breath gently touching this point each time it enters and exits, as if the air is softly cleansing this internal space. You might begin to experience a subtle tingling sensation, a gentle pressure, or a growing warmth in that area. Some people describe it as a drop of light pulsing there, while others perceive it as a field vibrating outward, like a miniature sun beginning to illuminate within their own head. But do not worry if you don't feel anything immediately. What truly matters is that your attention is directed there, for where attention flows, energy inevitably follows. This point between your eyebrows is a very real energy center, not visible to the physical eye, but clearly perceived by those who begin to consciously connect with it. The Vedic tradition refers to it as a center of inner vision, refined intuition, and direct perception. It is within this center that information not originating from conventional senses is processed. When you focus on this point with clear intention, you are quite literally turning on the inner light of your being. Science is still in its nascent stages regarding this area, but there are already studies indicating neurological changes when experienced. Meditators concentrate on this point. Brain activity shifts, brainwaves reorganize, and the body enters states of profound coherence. Yet the most significant part isn't found in the scientific data. It lies in the direct personal experience. And that is precisely what is beginning to happen within you now. If you gently maintain your attention on the spot between your eyebrows, something profound begins to shift inside you. You don't need to imagine anything, simply observe. This point functions like an antenna. It not only receives information, but also transmits it. It's like a silent radar that senses what lies beneath the surface inner sounds, colors that don't come from external light, sensations that arise out of nowhere and slowly begin to make sense. And perhaps at this very moment, something is stirring within you, not like a new idea, but like a deeply forgotten memory, as if a lost part of yourself is finally coming back to life. This point between your eyebrows is akin to a door, an energetic key. When you look at it from within, you are conveying a powerful message to your entire being. I am ready to see. It's not with my physical eyes, but with what lies beyond them. Thousands of people report that after just a few simple breathing practices combined with focus on this point, they start to perceive subtle patterns, sensations, and shifts in their thoughts and feelings. Choices become more intuitive, decisions gain remarkable clarity, and words emerge with greater strength, as if an inner compass is finally being reconnected. You are reactivating a center that was never truly shut off, merely dormant. And by bringing your attention back to it, you have already initiated the process of vibrational reactivation. Simply focusing on this point begins to reorganize your entire perception. It's like cleaning a lens that has been dusty for years. Little by little, it starts to reveal what has always been there, but you simply couldn't see. This is the undeniable sign that your energy center is responding. When you precisely align the three main elements, this vision opens like a portal. It is not a physical movement or a complex, laborious practice. It is a profound tuning, a specific frequency that activates only when three fundamental elements vibrate in perfect harmony. They are like the three sides of a bridge. Without any one of them, the crossing cannot be sustained. But when they are united, they open the path to something few dare to experience: the conscious activation of inner vision. The first is conscious silence. But not just any silence, not the kind that occurs when you turn off the TV or close a door. That is merely the silence of the mouth of the external environment. What we are referring to here is the profound silence between your own thoughts. That invisible gap between one idea and another, a tiny space that, when observed with intention, begins to expand. And in that space lies immense power, because true silence is not the absence of sound. It is the profound presence of perception. It is the point where you cease reacting to the world and begin to feel the very essence of things as they truly are. The ancients taught that silence is the language of the spirit. And when you learn to listen in this unique frequency, inner vision begins to emerge spontaneously as a natural reflection. The second pillar is sacred breathing. You breathe constantly. But what would it be like to breathe with profound intention, with unwavering presence, with complete and total awareness? The sages discovered that certain breathing patterns radically alter the body's entire energy field. They don't merely oxygenate the brain, they'll also reorganize brainwaves, calm the nervous system, and release what was previously blocked. When you breathe consciously, your mind aligns harmoniously with your body. Rushing dissolves, anxiety slows, and your attention becomes crystal clear, stable, and pure. In that state, energy naturally begins to flow to the correct places, including the center of the forehead, the very channel of inner vision. Breath is the ultimate portal between the visible and the invisible, and learning to consciously cross it is what profoundly changes everything. The third pillar, and perhaps the most challenging in modern life, is directed attention. In a world where everything relentlessly competes for your attention, learning to maintain focus on a single point is almost a forgotten art. However, it is precisely this art that awakens what has been dormant within you. Attention is like a concentrated laser beam. If it is scattered, it possesses no real power. But if it is sharply focused, it can cut through any barrier. When you learn to direct your attention inward, especially to that energetic point between your eyebrows, your perception shifts to an entirely new level. You move beyond the surface of the mind and dive into the vibrational field of pure consciousness. Inner vision does not open for the merely curious. It opens for the truly focused, for those who hold their gaze even when nothing immediate seems to be happening. These three pillars, silence, breath, and attention, work together like perfectly synchronized gears. Individually, they are already powerful, but when combined, they create a specific vibrational code that activates the field of perception that has been dormant within you. It's like turning on a forgotten ancient machine. The ancients knew this well. That's why it was not enough to simply meditate, or just to breathe, or merely to focus. It had to be all three, performed simultaneously, in a specific rhythm, a precise sequence, and with unwavering, true intention. And that is where the ultimate secret lies, because there is only one way to combine them correctly, and it was meticulously encoded in an ancient secret ritual comprising 7 distinct breathing steps. You are about to learn it now. The ritual of 7 breaths. This is the method to open the portal of hidden perception. It is no coincidence that there are 7 steps. The number 7 carries a profound archetypal pattern, present in almost all sacred traditions. 7 colors, 7 musical notes, 7 chakras, 7 heavens. But here, the 7 breaths represent 7 distinct doors that open one by one, leading to the 8th, the one not seen with the eyes, which reveals the invisible. So, breathe with me now, but not in your usual manner. From this moment on, each breath will be a deliberate call, a powerful activation, a conscious step inward. On the first breath, simply inhale slowly and deeply, and visualize a radiant golden light filling your entire body. Do not concern yourself with seeing it clearly, just imagine it. As you exhale, allow the air to leave, as if you are releasing the accumulated weight of the world. This is the entrance door. On the second breath, imagine this golden light beginning to gather specifically at the center of your forehead. And as you exhale, picture a gentle mist slowly clearing around you. Time seems to slow down, and the incessant noise of the mind begins to fade. You are actively crossing the threshold of thought. On the third breath, feel as though the air is not just entering your lungs, but every single cell of your being, as if your entire body is breathing in unison with you. And as you release the breath, you let go of all hidden tension. Something profound within you begins to expand. It is subtle, but it is undeniably present. The fourth breath marks a significant transition point. Now, the light you inhale no longer remains solely within your physical body. It begins to extend beyond your physical limits. You might feel a mild warmth in the center of your forehead, perhaps a gentle tingling or even a subtle pressure. Simply observe, not attempt to control it. By the fifth breath, the sensation of time nearly disappears altogether. You exist between what was and what is yet to come, a silent space beginning to open. Some individuals report seeing vivid images with their closed eyes, colors, symbols, movements. Others feel as though they are approaching something, without knowing precisely what it is. On the sixth breath, you allow yourself to completely surrender. No forcing, no analytical thinking, just pure, unadulterated breathing. And in that moment, your entire body seems to enter a suspended state. Air flows in and out, but you are no longer merely breathing. You're tuning in, like an instrument that, after years of being out of tune, finally returns to its original, perfect tone. On the seventh breath, you remain in profound silence. Inhale and exhale, as if you are gently floating. The mind doesn't struggle. The body feels light. Reality seems distant, yet simultaneously more intensely alive. You are now on the sacred threshold of the invisible. And if you allow this state to unfold without resistance, the veil itself begins to dissolve. But if you believe this is the peak of the experience, prepare yourself, because what comes next is the most mysterious space of the mind. You are about to consciously enter it. Space is not visible under a microscope or through a telescope, yet it is undeniably there, an imperceptible gap between one thought and another, a subtle crack between what you think and what you fundamentally are. This place was referred to by the ancients as the blind spot of consciousness, a realm where the logical mind cannot enter, where time itself dissolves, and where the usual rules of thought no longer apply. And the most curious part is that you have already been there. Everyone has passed through this precise point. You know that elusive moment right before you fall asleep, when you are not yet fully awake, but not entirely submerged in sleep either. That is precisely it. This in-between state is the initial portal, but it passes quickly. And since most people were never trained to consciously notice it, it simply slips by. But now, you are learning to recognize it, and more importantly, you are learning how to remain within it. In this unique space, time does not behave in the same way. Minutes can feel like hours. Ideas arise effortlessly. Sensations that were once muted become remarkably sharp, and perception shifts profoundly. You stop observing the world from the outside and begin to perceive the world that vibrates within. At this point, inner vision truly begins to emerge, like a brand new lens. You begin to see what was previously hidden, not with your physical eyes, but with the conscious field that has always been operating in the background. The intricate dance of mental waves, frequencies that reveal the invisible. What you see, feel, and understand begins to operate on an entirely different pattern. And this is scientifically supported. Modern science has conclusively shown that your brain doesn't emit a single constant frequency. It shifts, it dances, it adapts. And this intricate mental dance profoundly defines the quality of your consciousness in that precise moment. During your normal waking state, you primarily operate in the beta frequency. This is useful for working, making logical decisions, and responding to the external world. However, it is also in this state that the mind tends to be more agitated, critical, and anxious. As brain activity slows down, you enter the alpha state, a more creative, intuitive, and receptive field. This is the level where artists find their deepest inspiration, where innovative ideas are born, and this is precisely where the bridge between the external world and the subtle one truly begins to form. When you delve even deeper and enter the theta frequency, you are consciously navigating between wakefulness and sleepa, space where the logical mind nearly falls silent and the subconscious takes the lead. Small children naturally operate in this frequency, which is why they learn so rapidly through observation, effortlessly absorbing information. In this state, hidden memories surface, profound insights occur, and more significantly, this is where you begin to truly see what lies beyond. Even lower is the delta frequency, primarily associated with deep sleep, cellular regeneration, and in advanced practitioners, contact with zones of the collective unconscious. States of profound healing and out-of-body experiences tend to happen at these deeper levels. But this is not about sleeping. It's about consciously accessing these powerful waves with a grounded, aware mind. And that is exactly what the previous exercise began to cultivate within you. When you enter this internal rhythm, the external world begins to feel remarkably different. Colors appear more vivid, sounds become more subtle, and thoughts slow down significantly. And then, inner vision slowly begins to take the place of normal perception. It's not that you start seeing fantastic things like in movies. It's that you begin to vividly notice what has always been present, but to which you never had access. The vibrational field of people, the true intention behind spoken words, the energetic state of a particular space. All of this begins to become visible, not with your physical eyes, but with your expanded consciousness. Some call this an awakening. Others call it expanded perception. The name doesn't truly matter. What matters is that once you enter this state, you can never go back to being the same. Your sensitivity increases, your intuition strengthens dramatically, and your connection with the invisible becomes utterly natural. However, with this profound opening, something else significant changes. You begin to attract what inherently protects this threshold, because by activating this expanded field, you will inevitably attract something few are truly ready to face: the threshold guardians, and it is crucial that you learn how to navigate through them. These guardians do not manifest as mystical figures or external entities. Rather, they emerge from deep within you. They are profound reflections of your own mind, activated precisely when you begin to move beyond the comfortable limits of the known. The first guardian is doubt. It's not superficial doubt about techniques or methods, but a deep, unsettling doubt that directly touches your very identity. You will begin to question, is this all real, or am I merely deceiving myself? This is the ultimate test of inner faith, not blind faith, but vibrational faith, the profound ability to remain present without any external guarantees. Then comes fear, an ancient primal fear. The fear of losing control, of letting go, of no longer being the person you always thought you were. It manifests as intense resistance, as a sudden, overwhelming urge to stop, to retreat back to the perceived comfort of your routine. But fear, in this context, is a guardian asking, are you truly ready to cross this portal without knowing what lies on the other side? And then comes impatience. the overwhelming desire for immediate results, for tangible signs, for instant proof and rewards. The modern mind demands instant gratification, but inner vision does not operate in that manner. It opens like a delicate flower in its own perfect time. If you attempt to force it, it will simply close. This guardian teaches you the profound lesson of waiting with unwavering presence, not with demanding expectation. The last and perhaps most subtle guardian is the spiritual ego. When you begin to feel new things, perceive more, and have different experiences, the dangerous idea might arise that you are somehow special, different from others, or even superior. This is the insidious poison that can shut down the channel before it is fully opened. Because true inner vision can only be sustained by profound humility, never by pride. It blooms in emptiness, not in the desperate need to be someone. And now that your vision has begun to open, the most important part arises: how to live with it in the real world. That is the crucial content of our next video. You are ready. If you felt that this message was truly meant for you, please write in the comments, "My inner vision has awakened." This phrase is not merely symbolic, anchors the specific vibration that was activated within you, and it may resonate powerfully with other souls who are also awakening. If you would like to support the Seeds of Akasha channel more directly and help us reach more people with messages like this, there is a link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute. By supporting us, you help this transformative message reach those who truly need it. Now don't leave just yet. The video has been specially selected for you to continue this incredible journey. It's appearing right here on the screen. Click on it and I will meet you there, where I will show you how to truly live with this new vision in the real world.